Hi, I'm Emilio Esguerra. I'm the HR manager of Mom and Tina's Bakery Cafe. It's a chain of restaurants. And I'm currently driving this 2014 Mitsubishi Mirage 1.2 CVT GLX model. This is a 2014 model. It's 4 years and 2 months. I got this at the Diamond Motors, the Valle Verde branch in Pasig. I'm actually a Volkswagen guy and the old Volkswagens. But of course, the wife needed a car that was automatic. And since it's just the two of us, we didn't really need a large vehicle. So when we were looking for a car, we were basically looking at the super minis. So around that time, I think the Wigo had just come out, Hyundai Grand i10. So I looked at those, but they just felt too small naman. The Kia Picanto, it was nice. Actually, in terms of interior and everything, I think the Picanto was the nicest, but it was a little pricey compared to the others. And then I checked out Diamond Motors near Valle Verde, and I looked at the Mirage. And when I went inside, I sat inside, it kind of felt like a regular car. It didn't feel that cramped. So this is the car I ended up buying. And Diamond Motors was okay. We got the car in around, after we submitted all the papers, we got it in around a week. And surprisingly, we got our plates in 2 weeks. So that was a pleasant surprise, because I have a brother who got a car from another brand. 2 years na yata, wala pa rin yung plates niya. Diamond Motors, I'd give them actually a 4. My only gripe is sometimes it's hard to call to set a service appointment. But apart from that, once you get through, actually okay to talk to. I go to a particular service manager or whatever is on it. So he actually does text me after or in the months after to check up on the car. So that's nice. So this is the GLX model. So it's the mid-range. It's CVT, which is probably the most important consideration for my wife. It's a 1.2 engine. Also, that's also why I got it. It had the biggest engine. And from experience, I know nga na a slightly bigger engine doesn't always mean more fuel consumption. I used to drive the first gen Mazda 3, and I got the 2-liter. And my friend who had the 1.6, I was getting better mileage with the 2-liter simply because the power to weight ratio was better. Yeah, fuel efficiency is probably the most positive thing on this car. I don't always believe the advertised fuel consumption figures, but so far this has been good. In the city, it's usually 11 or 12 in the usual Manila traffic, which means bad. Highway, I took a trip to Anvaya before. It was just me and a camera and a tripod, And I was on SETEX, and I kept my speed to around 80. I got 26 kilometers per liter. So, can't beat that. Size-wise, for such a small car, I find the interior space, more than adequate. Well, it's a hatchback. The trunk space is okay. In fact, I can even put my black Labrador in the back. As I mentioned earlier, it's just the two of us, me and my wife. So, the dog's in the back, our luggage is on the back seat, works out fine. Then I put a tow bar hitch in the back so I can bring a couple of bicycles as well. Other good features about this car: airbags, ABS. The radio is decent. Speakers aren't the greatest, but I haven't really found a need to change anything just yet. The dealership experience has been okay. No horror stories from at least on my end. Servicing is, for the regular 5,000 kilometer servicing takes about 2-3 hours. If there aren't any parts to be replaced, servicing will run around 4,000. So not bad. The suspension is not one of its strong points, but then again, it's the usual rigid bar in the back, so you can't really expect a luxury car ride. The rims are 14, so you don't get the ride that the cars with the bigger diameter wheels give. There is a lack of noise, of sound deadening material, and that's usually one of the first things that Mirage owners add. No, I haven't gotten around to doing it, but I heard that you spend 2,000 or 3,000 on sound insulation. It improves the comfort quality. In fact, the first thing they usually put is more insulation on the ceiling, because when it rains, you really hear all the drops. The seats are actually pretty good. I find them for my height and my body type, it's supportive. Cabin materials, it's typical. It's all hard plastic. At least in the 4 years, nothing has cracked. Driving performance, apart from the engine power, it drives like a small car. I mean, you can't get around the fact that it's a small light car. So the usual, when you're on the highway at speed, a bus passes you, you will feel the bus. But it's never felt unsafe. I've got this. I think the fastest I've gone on this is 140. It never feels naman that the car is unsafe. It's always well planted, considering it has skinny 165 or 175 tires. The highway performance is quite decent. Things I don't like about this car: the steering is dead. In fact, I also read somewhere that I think this has the biggest dead spot of any modern car or something like that. But that being said, since you don't drive fast in it, or you don't take corners at a high speed, it doesn't make the car dangerous. For daily use and the occasional out-of-town trips, it doesn't really detract from the driving experience. Road noise is sometimes intrusive because of, I think it's mostly because of the lack of sound deadening materials. Maybe that's why the car is so light. That's a nice thing about the car. It's so light that the 1.2 engine can power it adequately. Engine noise, a lot of people complain that the engine is, well, from the reviews, they say the engine is unrefined, it's noisy, it's rough. I've only noticed it when the car is cold, and sometimes from idle. Being a 3-cylinder, I guess from idle sometimes it's not that smooth. On the upside, the noise kind of makes you feel like you're going faster. You're not, but at least it's a little bit of fun in traffic, or when you accelerate, from a stoplight, and then the engine makes that. It's like the noise when you install cheap headers. That's the sound. So actually, this came with steel rims and hubcaps, so I just got a set of the stock 14-inch alloys, and I haven't bothered to get wider tires or wider rims, simply because when I was reading about the car, it stated that part of the reason why it's so fuel efficient is the fact that the wheels are tucked into the body. So since I bought it because it's matipid, I didn't want to mess with it. If you're a first-time car buyer and your budget is limited to the super minis, or I don't know, maybe your garage space is limited, or if you just want maximum fuel efficiency, I would recommend this car. it does what it's supposed to do. You know, it gets a person from point A to point B. It's reasonably fun. I mean, not fun na you can speed around and everything, but fun because you can keep up with traffic, and you don't. I guess the best description for this car is, for the money, you don't feel kawawa. I mean, if you only had this amount of money to shell out, you won't feel kawawa or shortchanged, because it's a decent car. When I got this, it was parang 520, because I think they gave a 20,000-30,000 peso discount, simply because there was the new competition was out. So I think I got a pretty good deal. The dealer also threw in the usual freebies, free tint, floor mats, which are actually quite decent. For your money, I don't think you can go wrong with the Mirage. I'm sure parts for this will be available for a long time. 4 years. The only time this car didn't start was when the battery died. Other than that, I've had no problems with it. I was trying to start it for a while. So I finally gave Diamond a call, and I talked to one of the service advisors. And he said, it's okay. It has happened with other Mirage owners. I just have to keep on going and keep on starting it as long as my battery would hold out. No? Again, even if this were your only car, or for like say a newly married couple, or as a second or third car, I would definitely recommend the Mirage. Again, this is Emilio Esguerra. I do hope you enjoyed this car owner review of the 2014 Mitsubishi Mirage GLX. Please like us on Facebook, Autobuyers Philippines. Follow us on Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Bye!